Alta and I have been enjoying what we hear from the stage. It's been incredible. And all we need to do is go and apply it, each and every one of us. So I'm excited about it. You know, I want to talk about some tough things now. And I've always got a motto. If your shoe fits, put it on. If you can't stand the heat in the kitchen, you'll have to get out of the kitchen. This will be the kitchen. Okay, so it might get a bit hot. I want to talk about saying that the company I've always spoken about, yet in the late, I'd say, 89, 90s, from there on, we never handled it enough. And I tell you what, it's to me one of the most important sessions that should be done at every monthly training. Not every training, when you do your month-end rallies, we call them just all the super rallies or bonus rallies or whatever you call it. So, you see, you've heard it about work. You know, God designed us all to work. You know that? And even before I used to work for nothing when I worked for a boss. Be 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, never got overtime. But God was helping us grow now. We all need to understand who's our head. You've heard it today. And you see, we need to grow. I'm not going to get it as number one as a person. You need to grow as a leader. You need to grow even where you work. You know, I want to tell you a story. If you're part-time in a business, that's a good place to be. It's not bad. Start getting the discipline where you work, to look after what you're doing there, to work hard, to put in what you don't use the boss's time or his phone. God knows. Be absolutely honest. You know, when I resigned my job after 6 months in this business, the boss did not know Alta and I were doing anything. Yet we worked every night of the week, every Saturday afternoon, but I did not work in the boss's time. And when I resigned, he said to me, has somebody else made you another offer? I said, no. My wife and I just been doing a little business after hours, and right now, I can't afford to work for you anymore because I'm making more money by accident than I'm making on purpose. Who'd like that to happen one day? That'll need you to take the courage to do that, right? So you also need to grow in the community with everything you do. Now, you know, normal business, and we got to not think like normal business, all they care about is not you or your family or whatever. All they care about is the bottom line, the profit to the company or whatever that entails. So we've got to understand we are not normal business. And we need to trust God's principles. You see, God says we need to be honest is one of our principles. Have integrity. And I'll share a couple of things with you right now. Now, honesty, you see, integrity is just another aspect of being honest. And there's no shortcut to that one. Now, if you're dishonest, if you're not treating people right, you better make sure you've got a very good memory. You will get caught out. You see, if you're honest, you just tell it the way it is. Then you don't have to have a good memory, and that's actually important. Another thing is, we need to stand for what's right. Not easy, but if we don't make a stand for what's right, we'll fall for anything, and that's important. Now, you know, the unfortunate thing about the world is everybody out there says, what can I get? If you want to be successful in life, you've got to ask yourself a different question. What can I give? My time, my caring, my effort. And that is important because that's how this business grows. You see, Alta and I, If we stopped the business tomorrow, our income would not stop. But we don't do it for the income. We get excited to come along and see people like yourselves growing, taking steps, building other people, building relationships with people. That's what we get excited about. That's, and we always have done that, right? So be prepared, right? Have integrity. Have honesty. Now, honesty and integrity happens in the handshake. Shake somebody's hand, look him in the eye. And that's important. Don't try and break a hand, and, but it's important. And your example, leading out there, do you lead by example? Are you looking after your customers? Are you servicing your customers? I've got examples of people who haven't been active in this business for a long time because of circumstances, their work circumstances. Yet every month, because they did it properly, and they had a consumer base, and inactive distributors were consumers, they earned a bonus every month. Isn't that exciting? Yet they weren't ever around the business. So if you do it right, next point of our principles is sharing. Sharing, what do we share? We share our feelings, we share our taking care of people, we share our opportunity, we share our products. And these products work. Don't come to me with any other kind of business out there. They just like, you have all of them, hundreds of them, just like Neo Life, only better. No. There's none like it, Neo Life. I don't care who they are, I don't care where they come from. There's nothing to compare with it. Somebody says, I want to compare your product. You can't compare them. They're whole food supplements. They're non-genetically modified ingredients. The only company in the world does that. And they've monitored that since the 80s, not just now out of fashion. And I've actually got a book there right now, and they say since the introduction of genetically modified ingredients, the rates of cancer have gone sky high. Have any of you know anybody who's had cancer or died of cancer? Most everybody, am I right? It happens all the time. So that's where we stand with this business. It really is. Now, caring. Caring is important. When you get a new person started, I want to tell you, we were in Nairobi last week, Alta and I, did a function there. And you have some people there, like in 3 months, they sponsored 10 people or 13 people or 17 people. I say to myself, look, we sponsor people who are not going to build a business because they want to buy a wholesale. That's fine. I'm not talking about those people. They're important to our business. But if somebody joins your business, I'll show you on Sunday how I approach them and how we do it properly. If somebody joins your business to make money and build ahead, we have to be committed to work with them. Now, if you've got somebody like that as a joining, there's no way you can join 10 or 15 people at one time and have a time for them. It's impossible. I can't. I've got a whole list of names of people I need to invite to have a look at the business. They're already open to have a look, but I don't take it any further. So it's important to make sure that we have a time to go and help them, care for them. And now another thing was care for Neo Life. Care for Neo Life as a company, because if you do anything that's not right, you make claims about our products that are not true, or anything like that, it harms everyone's business. So we must stand for what Neo Life stands for, the integrity, the honesty, and the principles, and the philosophies. When you get a new person started, work with them, and I'll show you on Sunday how to do it, but help them approach people, show them how to approach. Don't just say, go and make 100 names, or that's stupid. Anybody who tells somebody that is really dumb, right? Show them how to approach people, because when Alta and I started, we had nobody to show us. Our upline quit. I'll tell you it later, right, after 3 months or whatever, but they just said invite people. They never First couple of people I invite, I did it wrong. People blew me out the water. And eventually I found the guy who did the meeting in Joburg, well, not my sponsor. I said, Mickey, what's happening? I invite people and they don't come. He said, what are you telling them? And I said, well, I tell them about the products and about the company. He said, that's not very intelligent. You must tell them nothing. And I listened to that and started doing that, and it started working. Now, unfortunately, in that, we cost a lot of our family and loved ones don't like a business. Alta's parents were negative. My parents were negative. Yet Alta's parents actually became directors in the business eventually, right? And I'll tell you quickly about Alta's mom. She was meticulous with Neolife supplements. She passed away healthy at 96 years old. Not sick. And that's exciting. I think my mom was about 94, right? That's exciting. Anyhow, so that's important part of caring, start helping to invite, helping consumers. Go with somebody and show them how to demonstrate the product. Show them how to get consumers. Show them how to service them. You'll have a session on that for some very successful people this weekend. Now, I want to share something with you. Don't do anything for a short-term gain. It's better to, you see, if you run for a short-term gain, you might have a long-term regret. Rather build for a long-term gain. Do things right. Help your people develop. And I'll tell you something. Another thing is brand new people. Help them become profitable. Help them make money. You know, when first check we got from a company those days, 116 Rand, I'll never forget it. And we got excited about it. We said, hey, it really works. That was not a lot of money, those, for us, but we saw it worked. So help people become profitable. And really, there's nothing wrong with money. You understand that? Some people, I know a lot of people who get up every morning of their lives and they go to work and they come home and they go to work and they go home. You know why they do that? Just for money. Do you know that? Nothing wrong with it. It's if we use it wrongly. If we use it to the benefit of other people and ourselves and our loved ones in the right way. And that's exciting. So don't ever be scared. God wants you to prosper. God wants you to be profitable. Now, here's the biggest thing. Maximize the value of the people you have in your business. Help them with knowledge, grow, support by your example. Alton and I stand here with 5 Diamonds. It's not us. We've got people in our business that make us look sick if it came to looking at what we do. But the key in our business is the more people you help, be that they make you look good. And that's important, right? So go out there and just maximize people's potential, help them grow. And because, we are servants. We need to serve our people. It's not like somebody like a politician. They suddenly get into parliament or whatever and they forget about the people that got them there. This business is different. You go through the challenges. You go through the challenges and they make you stronger, make you more positive, and you'll go out there and do it. So now I'll tell you one thing again. When you work with people, pursue excellence. Now, I've got to be one of the most disorganized people there are, okay? And thank God for Alta, who just tidies up behind me. And no, she does a great job. We make a great combination. Now, if you're on your own, it's fine, but I need somebody like that, okay, because I just go, but I don't take care of it at the back, right? I'm always been honest and all that, and believe me, God has not promised us a straight road to success. Do you know that? There's no elevator to success. You've got to go through it. So when you're having challenges, thank God for them, and that good will come out of it. And when you look for the good, you'll see the good. You know, we've had a lot of challenges just this past week and week before, and a lot of prayers into this business, but it was great listening to Kelechi, am I right? Now, Kelechi was battling to get a visa to come to South Africa. And I think you got it last Wednesday. A lot of people praying. And we've got our company vice president of operations actually went to the Home Affairs in Pretoria. And by some miracle of God, they got a visa. I don't know exactly what her son's challenge was, but yesterday, leaving in the airport in Lagos, Nigeria, there's something with his travel documents, ticket or whatever was not right. And thank God, a lot of people praying for it. Our agent in Port Elizabeth managed to get it sorted out. That's easier, and you'll be hearing from him. As a young man, as now Kelechi's partner or his son, and he'll be talking on Sunday with the young adult panel, right? He'll be sharing. And I say, this business is incredible, how you see things happen. So I've seen a lot of, don't look for a shortcut. Just forget about it. There isn't a shortcut. You know, I see people in our business looking for a shortcut. Folks, just do it the right way. Get your consumers, service them, get your inactive distributors, get them like a consumer. Just look after the business like that. You know, when your month begins, you should already have I'll show you that on Sunday. When your month begins, you should already have some orders that you're just going to deliver that month, not new business. And if you do it right, you're not going to run around like a chicken with its head chopped off at month end. And I think another thing you've got to learn, you see, I was a vice president of the company, and in 86 we came back as distributors. Now, I just sorted out my ego. You know, been up there with a company. Now suddenly I'm a Sapphire director, Alton. It had to get me down to the ground again. I had to humble myself. Which had I not done that, I would not be here today. So I want to challenge you, right? Humble yourself, because you will be blessed if you humble yourself and you serve people. It's not because of us here. People give us praise or whatever. It doesn't go to our heads. We just thank God for each and every one in our business, and we're excited for you. And Alta always says, the biggest reward we want is you stepping up in the business and achieving your dreams and your walk. And that's the biggest reward we want. So take note of that, and I suggest to all the training groups, principles and philosophies, should be a 20-minute session every monthly rally, and get people here. We've got to assume that people need reminding, you know. Why do you have a padlock? Not for criminals. A padlock on a door just keeps honest people honest. A criminal will get in anywhere, am I right? They get into banks, you see. And that's all we've got to do. And that's why we need to stand on our principles and philosophy. You do that, you're all going to fly. And I've said so already this evening. This room is going to be double the amount of people we're having now. We're going to put in next year this time. As soon as we get the dates, we'll let you know again. But we are going to do it, God willing. If we live, I trust Him, and we'll be here. So I want to challenge you. Enjoy the rest of the time. You're going to learn a lot. And you've got some good stories to listen to tonight that will be coming, speaking still. And then after that, we go. Thank you very much, and God bless you.